We've got some.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit. And today, we're bringing them to you so you can take action immediately and start creating real content momentum.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah. It's Friday and it's time for another incredible guest. Today, we bring one of the first people to ever interview us in their podcast. A really good friend, an up-and-coming game-changer entrepreneur.
You better don't sleep on this guy. His drive and ambition are going to feed your soul, baby. He's just 21 years old and he just published his first book, Decades in Days. We got it right here. How impressive is that, huh?
Today's guest has focused his attention in teaching others how to properly implement the Dream 100 strategy. He's the host of interviews with entrepreneurs, in which he has interviewed 7 and 8 figures entrepreneurs for an entire year.
Can't wait to learn more. Please welcome author of Decades in Days, host of interviews with entrepreneurs, and really good friend, RJ Ahmed. What's up, RJ?
Yo, thank you so much, guys, for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you so much.
Dude, by the way, I gotta throw this out there. You are joining us from the other side of the world, right? I mean, it's 9:20 p.m. where you are right now. Thank you so much for the commitment, man, the passion. We absolutely love it. Can you share with people, where are you tuning in from?
Yeah, I'm in Pakistan right now, and it's 9:30 p.m. at the moment. But yeah, I'm a night owl. I love to work at night. So yeah, that's
amazing. That's a commitment right there, people.
You know, RJ, what I love about you, man, is like there's literally no excuse, right? Like we could be anywhere in the world and you were making it happen. And that was one of the highlights that when we first met you, right? Like we were on your show. So thank you so much for that incredible experience, right? Because we can talk about experience just in a little bit. But we were like, man, like 21, published author. At 20, you release your Chrome extension. Like have these incredible conversations with amazing entrepreneurs. Your drive is incredible, and you just make it happen. You were also part of our 45 Live challenge, man. Like I love the fact that you were in there as well. You know, grinding it out with all of us. Yep. And dude, I am so incredible honored to be part of this book. For those who don't know what we're talking about, the link is right below. The book is called Decades in Days, right here.
Yep.
These will save you decades on, you know, whatever you're doing on your entrepreneurial journey. There's incredible lessons in there from all entrepreneurs. And I'm just going to put a plug in there. We are in the book. So thank you, RJ.
Go get the book and then grab a bookmark and put it on page 97. That's where we are, guys. That's where we are.
We should just do a shirt that says Big 97, right?
Page 97.
Page 97. Dude, RJ, for those who are not familiar with you or your show, do you want to tell us a little bit of, you know, where was the show born, why you started this, you know, so young too, which by the way, like, I can't wait to see where this is going to go. But would you want to share a little bit of your entrepreneurial journey with us?
Sure. So if people really don't know about me, I'm born and raised in Saudi Arabia. So I spent my whole life over there. And I lived there for almost like 18 years. So the people who are living in the Middle East, they love their 9-to-5 job. They're not into entrepreneurship. They are in soccer a lot because, again, that's a Middle East country. So I had the exact same kind of a mindset out there that, hey, you know, I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to get a job. That's going to be the same life. Okay, I'm going to do it. So I was teaching tuition with my mother, was making $100 a month. But I was actually spending that money in like PlayStation and games, you know, FIFA, PES, you know, footballs. So these type of things out there. So I never focused on any sort of asset or nothing like that. Zero plan for it. In 2017, I moved to Pakistan for the very first time. So it was like I landed on Mars, kind of like completely different environment, different people who were living over here. So it was kind of hard in the initial start. So when I finished my college, I didn't got myself admission in the university. So when you're living in an Asian family out there, there are like huge things coming up, like comparisons. Your cousins are getting admission, you're not getting admission at all. I was typically free for 6 months, so many cons and so many other things. So during that period of time, I was actually scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw an ad of Shopify. So
Mm.
I got a little bit more interest out there, like, oh, okay, what Shopify is, let's see. I had a bit of an idea, but never, gone through a lot. So I went on YouTube, did a search, saw what Shopify is, went on, started to use my trial, and I was building my store right away. And then I thought about, okay, how can I get paid? Because in
Mm.
Pakistan, we don't have Stripe, we don't have PayPal, we don't have any other sort of like payment gateway that we can use to get paid. And we, as an entrepreneur, have to get paid for our values that we are providing to our people. So that was
Yeah.
a kind of a challenge out there in the initial point, and I don't want it to play the role of a victim mentality. I don't want it to be like, hey, let's say if I'm in Pakistan, let's say if don't have this, let's say if it's harder for me. Like, what I'm thinking about is it's kind of achievable. People have already done that. So location doesn't matter. It's going to be a bit harder, but it is achievable. So
Yeah.
I went on YouTube again and I searched in a video like how to create Stripe for non-US citizen. There's a guy named Sebastian Gomez. He's from Costa Rica, and he talked about how to build Stripe and everything out there. I went on. The cost of formation of LLC in US was $126 at the moment.
Yeah.
So I had $126 almost as a saving, because in Pakistan I wasn't working. I had just saving amount. That's it. But
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna use my money. So it means like if it's happened, that's cool. If it doesn't, then let's see the consequence. Because for any person who is starting out young, I don't suggest them to take money from their parents, because I don't believe that is a positive pressure on you. That is kind of a negative pressure, because now
Yeah.
there's a lot of negative things gonna come to you. So try to figure out everything on your own and see like what are the other possible ways. So I went on, I paid for the LLC, I got the EAN, finally I got the Stripe. I was like, oh, finally the Stripe is done.
Yeah.
And then later on, I was working on the store back again, and then I was like, I don't have any funds. I would want to have money for like subscriptions, for fulfillment, for ads. I don't have any of that money. So I went on Instagram. I did a post on Instagram out there that, hey, if anyone is willing to invest in my company, let me know. So there were a few of my friends who were also my students as well. So they reached out to me and they explained me the whole process. I was like, hey, we're going to make a lot of money. Let's do it. So they invested around $200 for
Yeah.
30% equity of the company, around 30,000 rupees. So pretty good for a person who is like 18 years old and don't have that much money. So that was pretty good. And at the time of Black Friday in 2018, I launched my store. And if people know about ecom and Black Friday, it's like biggest week out there for ecom itself. People are making so much money. And when we are starting out, we are watching these gurus with Lambos that talking about you're gonna make like 6 figures a week, 7 figures a week. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen like this, and I'm gonna make 6 figures a week. But it's not, there is a process you have to do, and it takes time. Not happens like instant. People thinks about it's gonna happen like this because of the influencers they're actually following, that they are believing like, hey, it's gonna happen this fast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're creating that message to those people. That is why they're assuming that. So when I launched my store, nothing worked. Wrong product, wrong targeting, wrong offer. Nothing was actually working. And I was like, oh my God, why it's not working? So I was super frustrated at that point. So I was actually selling to my friends and family members, and this is this. But I don't consider it as my sale, because a sale is something when you're selling to someone who is unknown to you in the initial start. Later on, he becomes your customer or your prospect or a friend or whatever it is. In the initial start, he was unknown. So I was like, no, that's not my sale at all. So later on, when I was scrolling again through Instagram, that is a kind of a coincidence. During that part, a lot of marketers talking about the concept of funnels, sales funnels, and this and that. I was like, what is a funnel? Like, is it like using for water tank, oil tank? Like, what is it actually? So I was super confused, but it was absolute timing out there. I saw a post on Instagram that it was something like, this guy have made over $3 million in 90 minutes. Russell Brunson, co-founder of ClickFunnels. I was like, okay, Russell is the only guy actually at the moment I can relate what funnels is. So I went back on YouTube. Rather than like just trying to figure out on my own, I went on YouTube. I searched more about ClickFunnels and Russell and saw his presentation, which he did in a 10x growth conference out there at that moment, which was crazy. So then on January 2019, I joined ClickFunnels under Paul Motley. So Paul is ClickFunnels Dream Car winner right now. Awesome person out there. And he was the very first guy I got in a call with, a person who had native English. So English is not my language. So and the people who don't have English as their first language, the biggest objection they have they think like they are able to speak English, but they have confidence stuck in their head. That's it. Then
Yeah.
they are unable to speak. So I was on that exact same point as well. I was like, but I have to do it. So I was just like barely speaking with him, and he was super kind, super awesome. He helped me out a bit, but I was on the trial, and ClickFunnels is $97 a month on the
Yeah.
basic plan, which is around 15,000 rupees, which is almost I pay for a month for my hostel dues. So being a student when I'm actually not making money and I have like kind of some money as an investment I was like, oh my god, it is expensive at the moment. But I got on a call with ClickFunnels retention team guy. His name is Nico, super awesome guy. He extended my trial for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I had 2 months now. I was like, okay, let me do something now, because the main intention for me to even getting into ClickFunnels was to promoting it as an affiliate marketer. So I wanted to promote it as an affiliate marketer out there. And I was like, these people are making orange bars. I'm not getting any of these orange bars or commissions. Is that even work? Is that a scam? Like, I was like super frustrated during that time. So even in those 2 months, I didn't make any money, and the trial, everything ended. But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cancel my account. Let me pause it. I'm gonna get back to it again by unpausing that account again. So after that, on March 9th, there was a guy who needed a Facebook ads course. I was like, hey man, I'm your guy, let's talk about it. So I got in a call with him. I was in a hostel at that moment as well. I explained them the process. I was like, hey, I'm going to give you this Facebook ads course for free as a bonus if you sign up for one funnel away challenge. He was like, that's pretty good deal. And he hung up the phone. Within 5 minutes, he bought a one funnel away challenge, and I made my first $100. And I was like, bam, out of the world. I was like, oh my god, this works. First thing. Second thing, which was like, is this is really working. Third thing was like, I made a money in a day that I spent in a whole month.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like breaking my false belief that, okay, if I can make $100 a day, I can make $200, $500, even $1,000 a day as well. So it is possible. Now I was like, it works. It really works. So for that exact same month, it took me like, I did 3 sales. It was $300 for me.
Nice.
For me, it was pretty good. It was 50,000 rupees. A medium person out there who's like pretty much like experienced in their job get 50,000 rupees. Pretty good amount of money over there. So I was like, okay, I got 50,000 rupees out there. Then I started to learn, okay, what is value is. And value is in exchange of helping other people out there. It could be your time, value, money, resources, anything in order to help other people. That is actually what value is. People just talk about value, but they just don't simplify it. So when I understood that process, I was actually helping out a lot of people in ClickFunnels group. I was engaging with a lot of people out there. If they had any questions, I was helping them out. So it took me the next 3 months to make my first $1,000. So for me, it was a huge milestone, because now I'm really believing into this system and everything. And then it took me like the next 5 to 7 months to make my first $10,000. And then how things started to transition pretty well into other things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm mind blown.
I just want to say you're the impersonation. What is it? What impersonator of like the visual of hashtag table fits. Like you literally go out there and you're like, I want it, I need it, like I'm gonna make it happen, and you make it happen, right? Like it's so incredible to see, especially it's not often that we've had people from other countries. I think I know you're the first person from Saudi Arabia and Pakistan that we have on the show, right? And it's like, us being from a third world country, right? Like we can relate, right? Like we're from Venezuela originally, and literally all our life we've been having to go after the things that we want. We're just gonna make it happen. In tough times, in good times, it doesn't matter. And I love that attitude, man, because the fact that, and we understand currency, right? Same thing. Like little dollars might go a long way in Venezuela with hyperinflation. So we understand that concept. And the fact that you're putting, your money where your mouth is incredible, because you're like, I believe in this product, right? And I want to highlight that, because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get out there and sometimes we have doubts about the things that we do, right? Not sometimes, it's pretty often we're like, man, is this thing really working, right? Like, is my solution really working? Is it giving the results? Maybe sometimes we misjudge the results, or we don't see things, inside of our business, right? For example, we had a conversation a couple of days ago where we just realign perspective, right? Because we have objectives, we have goals, right? That sometimes we're going to fall short, and that's fine. But sometimes we forget to look behind us of what just happened. So we literally went back and we're like, okay, from 2018 to 19, what happened? incredible progress, right? From 2019 to 2020, what happened? Incredible, like more than incredible like we more than
Yeah.
double sales, high teams, and sometimes we forget that, right? And we have to look back and do that. So the fact that you are putting that effort in and you believe in your product and you're like, hey, this is making, I'm gonna make it happen, and you did. Oh, so good. So
yeah. Wait, before you go with the next questions, I got some things to share over here.
Yeah, I just want to share my excitement.
RJ, again, so yeah, I'm super pumped up. I didn't know the extent of your story, if I'm being honest, right? I obviously knew that you're from Pakistan, bro, that you're a hard worker and action taker, but I didn't know all these things that you went through. So number one, like my brother said, table face. Go out there, ask for things, right? Build connections, right? Like, how many people has claimed the 14-day trial of ClickFunnels, right? But how many people at the end of the 14 days have been like, oh, well, you know, I didn't make it work. I'm just going to either cancel it or not do it, or just go immediately into the payment, right? Which is, I mean, ClickFunnels is a great platform. Again, guys, if you are not on ClickFunnels yet, go and check it out. We're going to leave some links in the description below. But RJ, you were like, you know what? I need more free time, more trial time to make this happen, right? This is my situation, my circumstances, and I'm not just going to let the circumstances take over. I'm going to control this thing right here, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to take action. And you call them, you talk to them, and they extended the trial to 2 months, right? I think that is absolutely incredible. I'm sure they don't do that for everybody, but I'm sure they saw your drive. I saw that you were invested in the platform, in the community, and they gave you the opportunity, right? So when your actions are, you know, when your actions back up what you're saying and what you're asking, people are going to give you, are going to reward you with those things. So that's lesson number one right there. Then the next is leverage other people's knowledge, man. I mean, you did that so well. I mean, in the intro, we mentioned we are against the hacks and the tactics, right? And I know it's a very sexy word in the copywriting world, right? You put hacks and tactics in your headlines and people immediately click on them. So now it's like, okay, well, guess what? We, in the process, as we were growing, we fell for that as well, right? And it's because we were looking for the quick win. Every time it's like, oh, what is that immediate gratification, that quick win that we can get right now? And honestly,
what do we call it with them? The Lambo effect.
The Lambo effect. And at the end of the day, it does take work. It does take commitment, consistency, right, and discipline. But there is actually one shortcut, right? And that shortcut is actually reach out to the people that have done it and learn from them. And today, in this world that we live in, we have that tool, you know, at our fingertips, is in the computer. These people are producing content. They're writing books, right? Just like yours, decades and days, right? They have podcasts, they have YouTube channels, and we can literally have access to these people and their knowledge, right? We can leverage the 10,000 hours that they have put in to master something. We can go in and tap into that information immediately. So instead of focusing on the hacks and the tactics and like, how do I just get this quick win? You went, how can I leverage somebody else's 10,000 hours and make it work for me and put in the work, right? And then the other thing that I love, you mentioned it at the beginning, but is that no victim mentality. I love that, man. Because first of all, again, you're in Pakistan, and I was actually going to ask you, right? How much is $126? Like, what does that mean for somebody in Pakistan? $126 a month. What would it be? What would it mean for them?
$126 is around, I believe, like 25,000 rupees. And that's a pretty good amount of money out there over here. Like some people who actually starts out into a space, in anything what they do, let's say I heard about one thing that a chartered accountant, when they're becoming a chartered accountant, they make 13,000 rupees. That is $80. Wow. 9 to 5 job, that like full time, and they're getting paid $80. So think about like 2 chartered accountants. You're simple. You know, 2 chartered accountants are there. So that's a salary. That's a monthly salary of them. So
there you go.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, so much respect for this coming from a country, right, that the monetary value is not as strong like in the US. and you're playing US prices and you're making it happen. You're like, you know what? There's no excuses. And the label that went up in my head is people will pay for opportunities, right? And then
Yeah.
it's up to the person, right, to take the action necessary to make it happen. And that's what I'm impressed about you, dude. That you, I mean, you're putting yourself. You're the definition of an entrepreneur, right? You're this person that takes above average risk to, fund your
Yeah.
business, right? And in the circumstance where you are, for some people here in the US, they might say like, "Oh, it's $126." Yeah, well, that's like over a month's salary in Pakistan where you are right now.
Crazy. Yeah,
It's
so crazy.
insane, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, like that just blew my mind. There's so many lessons here in this short amount of time that we've been speaking that people can take in, reflect on those, and be like, dude, I need to take action like RJ has done it. So, I know you had a question. Now you can go.
Oh, thank you, Fonzie. No, like I'm very curious, right? Like obviously going along the theme of the book, right? Decades and Days. Like first of all, great title.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I would have found this in my early days of this, and I'm like, yes, I wanna do this. So congrats on that. Now I'm
Thank you
very
so much.
curious on why you started the platform, right? We talked about the Dream 100. For those that are
Yeah.
not familiar with the Dream 100, is a strategy to build relationships basically, and then link them to your business, right? We recently had Amanda Holmes in the show. Incredible. She's the CEO of the Ultimate Sales Machine, which
So
Chet
cool.
Holmes was the one literally that brought this concept, to market. So if you haven't checked it out, go there. But you're implementing this strategy every single day with your publishing strategy all together, right? So why don't you walk us through the decision of actually starting your own show and platform, develop these relationships, and then what has been the benefit of it, right? Like, because for us,
Yeah.
we also, share the passion on the platform and the show. I think we use it just a tiny bit different than you, maybe. I don't know, but I'm assuming. But I would love to know your perspective, and especially like on why you actually started, right? Because for some people out there, that might be a lot of work, right? The fact that create the show, the whole shebang, the whole
Yeah.
structure, the assets, getting the guests, right? Like obviously you have your own process, we have our process, but I'm very curious, like what motivated you to go there?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. First thing, when I got to know about Dream 100, it was in One Funnel Away Challenge. So in 2019, when I actually joined One Funnel Away Challenge, I got to know about Dream 100 over there. I was like super interested what it actually was. I think the most common problem people face in Dream 100, they feel like they know what it is, and they think like they understand it, but they really don't know how to implement it.
Yeah.
So they don't know this implementation part, and it can be done in so many ways. Actually, there are so many ways to do it. So during that particular process, when it really helped me to get a lot of interest onto it, my very first live and my very first actual interview, not the part of the show, was with Alex Elliott. I did an interview with her, and that was the very first interview. And if people haven't checked it out, you can check it out probably on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook group. You can check it out anywhere. But it was 4 a.m. I didn't have a camera. I had one hand-free out there that you get with a PlayStation 4. Okay, that was one hand-free that I got. But I was like, okay, if I really don't publish right now, I don't think so. It's going to be possible, because what actually happened is when someone is trying to do something that person haven't achieved yet, they feel like there is a barrier of it. But when they actually does it, then they're like, oh my God, that was achievable. So that was the main thing. And the other objections I had in my mind was English is not my first language. So communicating with a native person on that basis in an interview, it's kind of a different thing how you do actually in a coaching call or like in a call with someone. You're actually doing pretty much conversation. Second objection I had in my mind was I don't look pretty on camera. That's funny, but
I would disagree on that,
Yeah,
my
bro,
man.
you look great, man.
I would disagree on that.
but yeah, like that was kind of an objection I had in my mind. But I was like, I still don't. No one really cares. The people who are gonna create an objection for you to publish content are the people who are not even related to you in your marketplace. So when I started to get that point, I was like, I really don't care. Whoever says whatever, I'm gonna just go and put that content up. So I did few interviews, Alex Elliott, and there are other 2 to 3 interviews, and then I was like, why I'm doing a Facebook Live interviews? Russell talks about you have to have a distribution channel in Traffic Secrets. and even in general as well. Like he said that you have to have your own distribution channel. So I was like, why I'm doing like general Facebook Live? What if I do a show? Let me do it with a show perspective.
Absolutely.
So I thought about, okay, I'm gonna get my very first guest, Spencer Makem. And if people really don't know who Spencer Makem is, he's a 7-figure affiliate marketer, like $1 million affiliate. So I was actually like, I still have that exact same amount of respect for Spencer, what it was when I started. So when I was like following up, I was providing a lot of value, and I finally reached out in his inbox, and I was like, hey man, I'm starting my new show, or consider it my first show. I want you as my very first guest on the show itself. He was like, man, I would love to be the part of it, but it's the time of Funnel Hacking Live. It was Funnel Hacking Live time
Yeah.
last year. So he was like, let's wait for 2 months and let's go and do it. So I literally waited for 2 months. And then there was a Traffic Secrets launch came up at that moment. And I was like, hey, Spencer, like if you give me 30 minutes of your time, he was actually offering some bonuses. I was like, if you give me 30 minutes of your time, I was actually asking, I wasn't demanding. Don't demand. They don't owe you anything. So I was actually asking them,
Yeah.
hey, Spencer, if you give me like 30 minutes of your time, I'm going to buy a trilogy box set from you. That's great. So he actually reached back out to me and he was like, hey man, here's the link, book me up. I owe you this one. Let's do it. But he said one more thing. He said, don't buy the box set just because you had the intent of booking me up. I already owe you that. So because again, he's a 7-figure affiliate marketer. $40, $50 is almost like nothing for him to do. So, but I was like, man, I already said that. I'm a man of my words. I'm going to go and get the box set. I just went in and get the box set. I was like, because I want to make sure what I said, I should go and deliver that thing as well, not just for the sake of it, just go and do it. So I got Spencer on the show. He was my very first guest, but I pretty much messed up. That's crazy because when I got Spencer actually on the show, I was asking a ridiculous question. People don't understand one thing. The process of the interview you have, the 30 or 40 minutes or 1 hour you spend is the most crucial time. That is actually the time where people gonna build the relations with you.
Yeah.
Opens the door for you to build a relation with them. Otherwise, it's going to be super harder for you if that experience for them, it's not going to be good. Because these successful people obviously have landed on so many podcasts, so many interviews. What makes you different? What makes their experience different to your show? So when I got Spencer on my show, I was like pretty much messed up. I was asking him ridiculous question that, hey, Spencer, could you tell me, like, is that backdrop made of wood or plastic? So I was asking like these crazy type of questions, and I remember I was in with Jim Beard on his show, and he was like, dude, probably those people, other people are also wondering as well. So you've asked that question, that's fine. But I was like, that wasn't the perfect time to ask Spencer that question. So I felt like I really messed that interview up because I didn't even knew how to really, lead those people into the interviews, how to do the process of it. I didn't even knew anything of it. So then I started to do the next interview. My second interview was with Akbar Sheikh. I got him. Then third interview, I booked up with Jim Edwards, but again, I got Facebook slap. I got out of the Facebook actually. So, been there, done that. And the first thing in Traffic Secrets is that, Santa snap, storm is coming, this is this. I was like, I can relate to it at the moment because I got it now. So I just went back. I started to do a bit more interviews when I got around, I believe, Catherine Jones. I started to understand my process, what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and how it's actually working. What is the thing that's actually working, what's not? There are some things that actually the audience was telling me that, hey, improve it. I was like, okay, you are the people. You're actually going to watch it. So sure, why not? So I started to optimize that stuff. That interview went pretty good, and it was an awesome experience for me. And then I get boosted when I interviewed Steve on the show for the very first time. I was like, out of the world. I started to understand that process that what I'm actually doing is particularly this way. And Steve actually loved that particular interview, and that is the only reason why he got on my interview again. And he said on the show itself that he don't get on shows second time too often. So that was huge for me as well, being on the other side. And everyone is a kind of a fan of Steve because of One Funnel Away challenge. People follow Steve like crazy. So that thing was huge for me. But during that process, when I started to get consistent and started to get those people on the show, people were like, dude, you're doing Dream 100. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. So there came a point where when people are asking about Dream 100, they're mentioning me on the posts. I was like, okay, then now it's going crazy. Because here's the thing, you already talked about like Chet Holmes and then Amanda Holmes like leading the process, and then Russell Brunson, then Dana Derricks. These are the people who are all about Dream 100, what they actually did for that concept.
Yeah.
So when I got into it, and then I thought about, okay, let me teach it. So my intention was never to degrade them. It was never my intention. My intention was to narrow it down even further, to show the people it's possible in this way as well. So,
Absolutely.
okay, this is a process. You can do it with interviews. Let me show you how to do it actually, by doing it actually. So I don't want it to be a guru out there who's selling the course, selling a stuff that the thing that they haven't done it yet as well. So I
Yeah.
wanted to do it, and then I wanted to teach it. So then I created a masterclass. I was like, hey man, let me show you guys how I have done that. Let's talk about it. And then I did my masterclass out there, and then I was consistently did 52 interviews, 52 weeks, which was crazy for me out there. I was like, oh my god. And pretty
Yeah.
much everyone was asking, like, dude, so much consistency. There are so many things you have to do in that interview stuff, doing an interview, making sure everything happens on time,
Yeah.
repurposing of a content itself as well, and still be connected with those people, because I don't want it to be just another person who is just into the space, just selling products, just selling courses. I don't want it to be like that. The common misconception that people have, they take relationship for granted.
Mm.
They just don't build it. They
Yeah.
just don't build relation. They feel like making money is only the part, and they do it. But when actually something happens to their platform, or something actually happens to them, they're out of business, because nobody even knew them. They didn't have an audience. They didn't have any sort of those people out there that was actually helping them build a relation.
Yeah.
So instead of me like thinking about, okay, just selling, I was like, I have to build the relation with these influencers. I have to get through the door, because it don't happen like that. You have to build your way into it. Russell talks about like work your way in, buy your way in, but you have to build your way in. And people would love to have you in their tribe when you're trying to get into it. If you're just
Yeah.
like, I got Josh like few interviews back, he said one of the awesome things. It was like, don't be a fan, be their peer, be their friend. So when you become their customer, the relationship between you and your Dream 100 and a customer is so much different than when you're
Yeah.
thinking about as a friend.
Yeah.
So that really hit me at that point as well. But that is the fact. People take relationship for granted. Period. That's the main thing. That is the reason why there are some people who are actually connected with other people.
Incredible. RJ, like you go like 1,000 miles per hour, by the way. Like you launched the show, you build relationship, you launch a masterclass, you did it, you taught people how to do it. Like, wow. Like, obviously incredible, right? Like how do you get that fire, right? And we'll probably leave that question in just a second, but there's so much stuff that you mentioned that I'm sure Fonzie has some add-ons in there. But how do you get your first guest? Like you use that leverage, that relationship, right? Somebody that you admire. For us was Steve Larsen. Like that was like
Yeah.
our first like official guest, like on this market. We had a few people before. Shout out to Pablo. He was our business partner at the very beginning
Yeah.
of this, and he came on first, and then Steve came, and that was it. Like we were terrified, right? Like we launched our the intro that you saw today, like that whole
Yeah.
flare and flow, and
The flare.
the flare. That was born out of Steve Larsen's, right? And that was like that was really scary at the time, but just the fact that you created this whole experience, right, to develop that relationship, it aligns so much with what we've done with our show too. And that's literally the value, right? Like we've talked often about, hey, if everything goes, what is the last thing to go? Like worst case scenario, right? And we're like, the show will never go. Like the show will always go on. Doesn't matter, because it has been the vehicle and the door to those incredible relationships with people, like you, Todd Brown, Amanda Holmes, Steve Larsen, right? Soon to be Russell Branson. Hopefully, Russell, if you're watching this, you still have the invite open. Holy Flick, like incredible people around there that we've been able to connect and become friends. And that's the key, right? Like, because as you were mentioning this, I have this tab open here with LinkedIn, and we get like probably a few requests every single day. And as soon as I accept them, you get that message. Hey, by the way, are you looking for XYZ? And I'm like, no, I am not looking for that. Why? Right.
Yeah.
So it's like that is the initial reaction, and it's like, okay, how do we navigate this relationship game? So I love the fact that you were able to build that platform around that and executing and creating these incredible experiences, not only for your guests but for your students, for the people that come into your world. So if you're listening, right, take this and see how you can apply it to either your business or your publishing, right? How are you going to make the experience better for your guest? How are you going to be different? What are the questions that you're doing it? By the way, if you have any questions that you feel free to reach out to RJ, feel free to reach out to us. We both have incredible resources on how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I love everything that you share about the Dream 100, especially the positioning, right? I mean, we often talk and we learned this from Steve, right? That every solution creates a follow-up problem, and you're taking advantage of that. You're like, okay, what is the follow-up problem that comes with knowing the Dream 100? I'm gonna focus on that and deliver value, right? And at the same time, that's probably helping to promote, right, Dana Derricks, Chet Holmes, all these people. So they want to bring you in as well, and you start developing those relationships. Now, I absolutely love what you mentioned about kind of like the interview is the gateway to the relationship. And people don't understand that. Like, this is such a crucial moment right here for us to, build more trust, build a friendship, right? I mean, obviously, depending on your style of interview, and we love cracking up jokes and, just having a good, intimate conversation with people that are viewing, right? And people that are listening right now. And it is something that delivers value for everybody. It delivers value for you. It delivers value. I mean, extremely value. So much value for us, and there's so much value, hopefully, for the audience as well, right? So it's something that it's a win-win-win situation. Now, the other thing that resonated is relationships take time to build, and people need to understand that. Again, going back to hacks and tactics and going back to immediate gratification, I think we should have like one of those punching like little MMA training things
that says immediate gratification.
That says immediate gratification, and we just like punch it. But people want everything super quick, right? And we can get, honestly, we can get most of things today super quick, right? You go on social media, dopamine hits everywhere. You can buy things with one click of a button, right? In 2 days here in the US, you have your Amazon package at the door. So everything is so quick, but relationships don't work like that, right? I mean, you need to put the effort, right? Especially with people that you look up to, right? And Steve Larsen talks about the levels of influence, right? I mean, if you want to develop a relationship with a level A influencer, it's going to take a lot of time, right? If we want to build a relationship with Russell, it's going to take tons of time, tons of efforts, right? Tons of resources. And I'm not just talking about monetary resources, like your time, right? That you have to invest in there. And people just don't want to put in the work to do that, right? So, I mean, that is an advantage for those that do want to put in the work, that want to build those relationships and be intentional about it. That's the other thing, right? Not just like, oh, how can I benefit from this relationship? Because if we go with that mindset, you're starting the relationship off with the wrong foot, right? For us is, what are the people we want to hang out with, that we want to be friends with, right? Like, what table can we build that we can sit the most incredible entrepreneurs in there that we can learn from? Because guess what? Once you have all those people in those tables, your level of success, it's like by osmosis. You just go up and you become more successful as well. So, dude, thank you for sharing all that. And I'm curious, right? Like, I mean, you talk a little bit about the process on how you started with not having the right questions and then realizing like, wow, these are maybe the questions that I should be asking. But what other lessons have you learned from having this platform? I mean, you have over 55 interviews now. So what have you learned through the process, not only from the entrepreneurs, but from yourself? What are those lessons that have come from, inside of you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of lessons. And before even diving into it, when we had an interview, like how we was able to build relationship, it was pretty good. It was interactive interview. But second thing, we were kind of like, there were so many things out there. Was kind of like, interacting on the same point, like soccer. We're talking about so many different things out there that we can relate to it with each other out there. We can talk about it. We can discuss it. So that pretty much plays a role. So the biggest lesson that I really learned was that, first of all, relations is absolutely the key, but it demands time. It really demands time for someone even consider you as a friend. If you treat them as a friend, they kind of consider you. But if you're someone out there who are like Luis said, that just reached out on DM and then like straight away pitching up, that's not how you actually build a relationship. And the second thing, most people consider everyone like a fan, like, oh my god, like respect is different between being a fanboy or fangirl. That's a complete different aspect of it. If you're
Absolutely.
literally respecting someone, like who don't respect Steve, who don't respect Marley, who don't respect Catherine or Russell Brunson, everyone does. But being like, oh my god, being a fanboy, it's not gonna resonate on that point itself. So I started to understand that
Yeah.
process. When I did consistent interviews, I was like, no, I have to change my way how I'm actually interacting with those people, even in the interview, post interview, pre-interview,
Hmm.
like in every way. I have to interact like even though if I'm meeting with them for the first time, I want to be their friend. I don't want it to happen like that. You mentioned about
Yeah.
Amanda Holmes. So when I got Amanda on the show later on, she was like, oh my god, we saw like RJ is also talking about Dream 100, which is awesome. Like, okay, like how she got to know about that, I told her first in the first place, she can talk about herself, that's it.
Yeah.
But why? So she was talking about that, even though I was in that live interacting with her, but she can't even like it's up to her. She can even go and be like, hey, Dream 100, it's my father, what he did, and that's it. But he actually said that stuff, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that you have to actually change the process of how you actually interacting with those people out there. Be
Yeah.
like you're getting into their world as a friend with no intention in the initial start, and you're actually serving in their first place. Second thing, it's been more than 1 year since the show is into the public out there, and even though there were some people out there whom I haven't got the show on the show yet, they know me how it happened just because of the consistency of the show.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't happen in the ever past. Like there's one more thing I want to talk about. Josh, what he said, he was like so good into it. You actually can't relate people on a business level. You can do it on a personal level.
Mm.
So you can't go with people, like you can't go and be friend with Russell on a business end. He is making a ton of money and with a ton of experience. You can't really compete with it. But on a personal side, as a human, obviously you can engage with him. So when he said that, it literally blew me away. I was like, this
Yeah.
is true. And I heard that thing in the past, but right now again it's resonating me even more. So you have that mindset where people can kind of interact with you in that certain way. So when I understood the process, that even though I'm not talking with some people, they probably don't know me, but now they know me just because I did a show. And I did it consistently.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're getting on so many profiles, like so much consistently out there, people are going to interact because those people are following those people. So there are a lot of time it actually happens when I got some guests on the show and they're like, RJ, you've interviewed so many of our friends. I was like, let me know who's left actually. So that's what I
Yeah.
actually say to them. I was like, let me know who's left. Let me know about it. So it really helped me to have that friendly conversation and talking with them and interacting with them, which I absolutely dreamed about. Because when I started, I was watching these people who were not only making a lot of money, but also making a lot of impact. And I was like, oh my God, I never thought about I'm going to be interacting with
Hmm.
those people. When they even go in and like my post, I was like out of the world. Like, oh my God, they've liked my post. I'm like, best day, best day of the week or something like that, or
Yeah.
something like that. But it really transitioned where they're actually following you. So that thing happened only just because the interviews and the good experience of the interviews. Otherwise, that wouldn't have happened. And then I was able to, you talk about positioning. I was able to position my interviews to sell my products, my offers, my things. My authority went above and beyond because me being Pakistani, first of all, me being in the tier 3 countries and then interviewing these like multi 7, 8
Oh.
and to have on Pakistan, we're not able to do it, or we have some sort of like problems out there for really doing it. I really don't wanted it to be like that way. So that was the main thing that I had actually in my mind when I was even like doing the show. And it really helped me out a lot. It really helped me out to build that connections. It helped me out on the revenue side. It helped me out to grow myself because I was learning with those people who already have decades of experience into it in the space, regardless whatever they
Yeah.
actually do. So it actually changed how I literally did my online business, in just 1 year. And I can't believe like how everything can change in a single year.
Wow, that's amazing. You dropped so many golden boulders in there, right? I mean, my favorite one, I'm not gonna lie, is that you gotta get in the friend zone, baby. Sometimes like you gotta get in the friend zone. Stop being the fanboy, right? It's like like you mentioned, it's great to obviously respect them, but at the end of the day, and this actually happens when you meet them in person, you're like, they're real people, man. They're like, they are just like us. They have hobbies. They take action on what they're doing, right? They just had more success at this point in life, but they are normal people. And they honestly, they want those relationships too. And I'm sure there's some people, yes, that of course they like having the followers and people that look up to them. It becomes a responsibility now because you're a public figure. You need to, show value, show these people what is the right way to go. But at the same time, they want to be seen as regular people and as friends. They want, like you mentioned, that connection.
I remember I'm going in my head through fanboy moments.
And Todd Brown.
Well, that was mostly you. You're like Mr. Todd, right? And
yes.
I'm like, what? Like, what's up, Todd? And
I call him the whole podcast. I was like, Mr. Todd.
Mr. Todd. I know that. Oh my God. And he did mention that he was going to come back, so we have to.
Yes. to the bright side, like it was a great interview. He really liked it, and it wasn't like I was fanboying like, Mr. Todd, can I get your autograph? Of course not. I was just being respectful. I mean, he's older, and I feel like I'm always like, I say Mr. to older people out there.
Our old Venezuelan, education came way back. Our dad is from like this very, Catholic, conservative, and he's like, you gotta call everybody that's older than you, Mister, right? So that came out there, but I wasn't throwing you under the bus. I was actually thinking my fanboy moment, and I remember Fun Hiking Live last time. They had this section where it was all bunch of like open tables. And you had like Penn June, Catherine Jones, like all this, like Dan Henry, Frank Kern, like everybody on these tables. Marley was there. That's how we actually met Marley for the first time. And I remember going out for a second, and I run into Frank Kern on my way to the bathroom. No, actually in the bathroom, which was like so weird, right?
Did you take a selfie while you guys were in the toilet? Oh my god,
that was crazy. So, anyways, I go in the bathroom and I see like these, like, by the way, he's huge, like he's a tall dude, right? And I'm like, whoa, and I'm 5'7", right? So I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and then I didn't really notice that it was him, right? So, anyways, we do our thing. He comes out, and then I'm like, that's Frank Kern, like. Oh, like, and if you don't know Frank Kern, please go Google him, like MVP, right? Like, he was a surprise. OG of the industry, right? And he was there by surprise. Like, nobody knew he was coming. His entrance was incredible. What he talked about was incredible. And I was like, should I come up to him? By that time, we didn't have the show. Like, we haven't even like thought about like starting Content is Profit. And I'm like, I'm just gonna come up to him, right? And I'm like, hey, Mr. Frank, like going back to FONZI, right? Hey, Mr. Frank, like, nice to meet you. And that's when we took the selfie. But it was such a like an impact, right? And at the same time, like, he was like so nice. He was like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And I was like, man, like what you do is incredible, right? But total fanboy, right? Whenever you have your platform, right? By the way, Frank, you're always invited. So you'll probably be here in the show soon. But whenever we're in this platform, is like you said, right? It's a friendship, it's a relationship, it's an interaction of both parties. And, to be fair, that has been one of the best feedbacks that we've gotten from the community, right? They're like, we really enjoy your show, and the guests too, right? We really enjoy it because it's real and interaction. And same experience with you, RJ. Like, when we came onto your show, that was exactly what we witnessed, that it was a conversation. It was a peer-to-peer, let's talk, like, we're in different, not only us, but like us with our guests, right? We're in different periods of our, evolution as entrepreneurs, but at the same time, it's this incredible conversation that happens at the same level, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this platform, and how we can create and develop those relationships, which at the end of the day is going to help whatever venture business that you have. So for you listening, right? Like, if you are thinking about going and creating something like this, please consider that as one of your main points whenever you start publishing, right? put yourself at the same level, right? Have a conversation, right? And the fanboying, like FONZI is doing, Mr. Todd and Luis, like freaking out with Frank Karen, like don't do that on your show, right?
Yeah.
So and sometimes that might be a little bit of challenging to do. Do you have like a mind trick where you're like,
I think, sorry, before you ask that question, I think it comes down to confidence, right? To a point, it's like, believe in yourself, man. Believe that you are at that person's level, that you can achieve that success, right? I mean, doesn't mean fake it till you make it, right? But have the confidence in yourself that you can achieve those levels of success one day. So then when you meet him in a conversation, you don't meet him as a fan or just a business. Like you said, you meet him as a peer, as a friend, right? And honestly, that is our main goal when we have these conversations. Yes, we obviously want the value, the golden boulders to share with you, the audience, right? So you can learn more, and so we can learn more as well, right? And hopefully the guests can learn as well a few things here and there. But the main goal is like, dude, we want to be friends with you, right? We want to be friends with the person on the other side. So why are we going to have an awkward conversation where we are, where we hide our confidence? No, let's go all out and build this relationship.
Hey, RJ, as we wrap up the show, what is your number one action point, right? For those entrepreneurs that are thinking of making the leap, right, to maybe doing this full time, maybe, starting to publish, what is the one lesson that you want to share with them so they can, get that momentum going, right? Like, it's maybe we call that a quick win, but it's really like the first win of many others, right? How can we get that momentum?
I think there are two things that I want to add. First thing is taking imperfect action. If you're coming up with an objection that, hey, for me, like I said that I'm not pretty, first objection. Second thing, English is not my first language. You're giving yourself an objection, actually not to publish. Okay, that's the first thing. So you have to take imperfect action. Second thing you have to make sure is don't compare yourself with any other person. So if you're watching actually some people out there who are actually crushing with the show, actually crushing with their podcast, they have already done that. We already had the conversation in the past when you got on our show and you were talking about that. Hey, if some people are going to compare like with Gary Vee or like Mr. Beast, they are into the space for a decade, and they're publishing that way. So if you're actually coming up, that's not going to make any sense because they have people out there who are actually editing their content, who are talking about it. So if you're going to come with that particular way, you're coming up with these type of objections, that you're comparing yourself, don't do it. And the third thing is you have to, and that's one of the last and most important thing. Not everyone is your Dream 100. If the people who are successful in the space doesn't mean that they are completely resonating what you actually want to do or what you actually want to achieve. They're not aligning with their goals. They're not aligning with your message. They're not aligning with your ethics. So you have to filter that out. And only that happened, before I built a show, I was kind of a fanboy, like everyone had. But when I started to do like more shows and like more people started to know me, I started to unchoose some people out there. And I was like, these are the people whom I don't want to be on my show, even though they're making like $1 billion. They are into 7-8 figure mark. I was like, I'm not going to get them and I'm not going to even interact with them because I don't feel like those persons' values, probably it's going to be good for them, but those values are not something that is a fit for me to even interact with them. So you have to understand that not every person is kind of successful in their own world. That's awesome that they did that, but if they don't resonate with you, don't go with them. Why follow every single person out there? It's super common, like gurus, with their Lambos, and then they're like, and the people who actually love them are the people who want Lambos like that way. But the people who don't, they know that it takes time, it takes hustle, it takes sort of so many skills set in order to get to that particular point. So they don't even react on that Lambo stuff because they don't like it. So that's the main thing. These are three things: imperfectionism, take imperfect action, consistency, and like not everyone is your Dream 100.
Yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned that about aligning core values, right? I mean, who you are with the person that you're bringing into your platform. That's just going to make the entire process way more easy and enjoyable, right? Way more easy or easier? I think it's easier, yeah. It's going to make the process easier and way more enjoyable. So that is so key right there.
As you were saying that, like I would like to add a little secret, right, on how for people that are trying to do this, right, with a Dream 100 strategy or develop relationship on your show, one of the questions that we often gets asked is, how do we continue to get guests for every single week, right? We do 3 live shows a week, right? We're about to hit 200 episodes, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, that is like that people are like, that's crazy, right? How do we do this? Because there has to be like some kind of filtering with the guests and so on, and we have a very simple answer on how you will never ever run out of guests, and how these guests will always be part of that ethical, like that type of person that we really want for our show. You want to hear it? You want to hear it, Fonzie?
Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay. So after you interview, right? Like our show is 100% referrals. Like from the people that come onto the show, there's always a question, right? RJ, we're gonna ask you after the show of who we should bring into the show, right? And with that one question, we always get 2 or 3 names of people that resonate, at a personal level with our guests, which is gonna resonate at a personal level with us, right? And then it's incredible because there's always going to be somebody out there to reach out, create a new relationship, and they're always going to be at that level of perfect guest, right? So that has been something that changed everything, because I don't know, without that one element, I don't think we would have been able to hit as easily, and I say the easily with like quotations here, frictionless, about to hit 200 episodes with the guest. So I think that to me made the whole difference, and thank you for bringing it up, because that's so important, right? People that resonate with us. Now, RJ, where will you be if you did not publish?
Oh man, I really don't think so. I would be anywhere actually, because the only way here's the difference. If you're actually, the only purpose you're doing is selling is one of the most crucial part of your business. That's okay. But the only thing that you're doing is just selling, you're gonna get run out of people to sell. There's gonna come a time where people gonna run out when you're actually selling it, and there's a process of it, and some people gonna disagree to that as well on some other points. But when you're building an audience, it just goes away. It's like increasing and increasing and increasing. So if I haven't done in my show, there wasn't any audience then. There wasn't any connection then. I was still a fanboy. I was just dreaming about connecting with Steve Larson or other people who even like became the part of the book itself as well. So that thing would never probably happen for me. So when I think back and think about, oh my God, there were so many things that I've done within a year or so. And then there was one person who really asked, like, dude, you're 21. It's just been 3 years for you in the space. And then you've done so many things out there. And again, huge shout out to you guys, because I do weekly shows. You do it 3 times a week. Like, that is crazy. Whenever I think about like consistency, I was like, the BIZBROS are doing it like 3 times a week. I'm still not doing like 3 times a week out there. That is really a huge part of doing it, and especially consistently, because it's almost around 1 year since I'm watching you guys as well, because the very first time I got connected with you was when you interviewed Catherine Jones. So that was the very first time I saw you, and then I was like trying to get into the world and this and that. So all of these things never happened then. I never thought about like building a book. Never would have happened. Never would have happened like Dana Derricks is going to reach out to me to let me know that I'm doing awesome Dream 100ing. Never it would have happened that we be able to speak in ClickFunnels Platinum Affiliate Mastermind event alongside Peng Joon and Gabe Schillinger and other awesome people. So if I gonna go back and think about it, only revenue, that's not gonna do justice to it. There's so much things apart from revenue as well. So it comes with it. We are here to make money. Absolutely. Money is a byproduct of the value you're providing. It happens with that actually. So with the content that I put it up, I don't need to pre-frame people out there, because when they land on my profile and they see the people that I've actually interviewed, they're pre-framed. That's it. I don't need to pre-frame those people. So that happened by audience. When you're actually selling and not building an audience, you're going to run out of customers. When you're building an audience, it just grows. So you're never going to sell out of customers.
Thank you so much with all the golden boulders that you as you were saying all this, I'm like, we should name the book Golden Boulders. I'm just gonna say
get the domain, guys. Get the domain.
Yeah. So by the way, RJ, we're talking this behind cameras, but RJ is the one that's gonna help us like publish the Contents Profit official book. Apparently, Golden Boulders. That's probably gonna be the name. We'll
Golden
see.
Boulders.
It has to be approved, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Let us know in the comments, or let us know. Reach out to us. Is that something that resonates?
Absolutely. RJ, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? And most importantly, where can people get their hands on Decades in Days?
Yo, so I know the BIZBROS, Luis and Fonzie, gonna put up the link in the description, in the show notes, everyone down below. But here's the thing, guys. Like, if you really want to learn from decades of experience of successful entrepreneurs on how to build yourself and your business online, you have to get the copy of the book.
Yes.
Luis and Fonzie already said that they are the part of the book, which is awesome. But not only that, any business market you actually thought about, they're expert into this book. If you talk about affiliate marketing, there is a Spencer Makeup. If you talk about offer creation, Steve Larson. If you're talking about building your audience, like Catherine Jones into it. If you talk about content, Marley Jacks and the BIZBROS are into it on like their own side of it. So there was a guy who actually asked me a question: will a $10 million per year person eligible for buying a copy of the book? I said yes, in one context. Not for every chapter, but we have a chapter with Dave Woodward. Yeah, he's a CEO of ClickFunnels. He knows how to handle $100 million per year company. He knows systems more. He knows the processes more. He knows that thing more. He can obviously, people can learn about that from a $10 million per year perspective. There are other people who are multi-8 figures who probably doing some things that those people are actually stuck on. So when I understand those process out there, like everything is into it. Like it's like you're thinking about like content, your chapter, how to create an offer, how to create a 6-figure coaching program, like how to monetize your podcast, how to do power of custom boxes, power of outsourcing, how to become 1-week author. Like every freaking thing that you can actually go and think about, it is into it. So if you actually want to spend less time and more, consume it more and then go and implement it, that's the only reason why I'm actually reading the book every single day for 30 days, because I'm not actually reading it, I'm explaining it, how you actually use it in your business. So that's the thing I'm actually really doing. So the link is going to be show notes in the comment section, everything down below. Be sure to read the BIZBROS chapters out there. It is awesome. The only BIZBROS out there.
Page 97, baby.
Yeah, page 97.
Yeah, 97.
Dude, RJ, thank you so much. And like I said, we're gonna leave all the links right below. You gotta just scroll down and get it. It's so valuable, guys. It's so valuable. It's gonna move you forward. We're sharing with RJ earlier that one of the books that changed our course was something similar to that. And I am so excited that he brought this to market. And yeah, go get it. You're not gonna regret it. Anything else you want to add, RJ, before we head out?
Yes, guys, please don't compare. Just keep on doing it. Sometimes you're doing some things out there that actually most people aren't doing it. When you're doing it, you're actually dominating that market out there. I recently learned that, and it really proved that fact out there. When you're doing something, it really dominates the market when not many people are actually doing it. So just go and do it, whatever you want to do, and don't be afraid to be the very first person to actually do it. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, so good. Fonzie, anything you want to add?
Man, I'm just happy that you came over to Content is Profit to share
Nothing but honor, man.
With everybody. I appreciate you so much, man, and I wish so much success on Decades in Days. I know you're gonna have so much success with this book and people getting it, and Dream 100ing even more successful entrepreneurs. So, man, thank you so much, RJ.
Yeah,
thank you so much, man. Truly an honor.
With that said, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS.co.
That is right. And if RJ blew your mind and you are extremely motivated to take action, please don't forget to share this episode, because you can do the same for somebody else. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review.
Bye, guys.
See ya.